Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we talk about all things financial literacy. If you're new here, then welcome. Today, we're going to have a really good video. I'm going to talk to you about how you can get paid just by simply existing. This is actually a video that I've been meaning to make for a very long time, and I think it's going to help a lot of people understand exactly how they could make money really just by being around and being themselves. So wouldn't it be nice just to get paid to simply exist? In fact, you know, that's exactly what I'm doing right now, and I get paid for it, and it definitely has its advantages. So let's get right into the video so we can discuss how it's possible for anyone, including yourself, to do this. Here is the way that you can get paid just by simply existing, and that's going to be starting a personal brand. So a few months ago, I created a video and it was 9 ideas for a passive income that make me $7,200 per month. Since I've made that video, I just released a video on YouTube about my earnings that was, I would say, about a month and a half old. Since then, I've pretty much doubled this amount. I would say that now I probably do between 16,000 collectively since then. So now that I've doubled the amount from my sources of income, personal branding has become something that I really want to talk about. It's something that we see every single day on social media, and it's pretty much like interwoven into the fabric of our everyday lives, but you probably don't even notice it, which I would say is the point. You don't need to actually notice it. So if you ask someone what a personal brand was, I would say 20 years ago, they probably would respond like Nike or Adidas or something like that. But if you ask them what a personal brand meant, they probably wouldn't be able to tell you. Now, in the past few years, things have completely changed. Not only do people understand what a brand is and what it does, mainly because of social media, we're starting to understand what personal branding really does mean on the individual level. But despite a lot of people now knowing what personal branding is, most of us don't really know how to use it. I didn't know how to use it, but I slowly learned after, many attempts. And I'm going to share that with you, how I did this and made it so easy. It's just a part of who I am, and it's just what I do every day, and really has made me money just to exist. Personal branding is the conscious and intentional effort to create and influence public perception of an individual by positioning them as an authority in their industry, elevating their credibility, and differentiating themselves from the competition to ultimately advance their career, widen their circle of influence, and have a larger impact. So when personal branding is done correctly, it should not feel like a brand. In my opinion, you shouldn't have to create a character or a persona. Not saying that you can't, because if you're an entertainer, that's a different thing, I would say, altogether, but you can do it that way. But what I'm referring to is building a community that you provide value to by simply being who you are in your day-to-day life. So the only example I could really use is myself, because, I know myself better than anybody else. I am someone who has never really wanted to be on camera or make a YouTube channel or be a talking head figure or any type of anything. But what I found is when you create content that is natural or it is authentic to who you are, you do it without having to really try. Like, a lot of videos are easy for me to make because I'm not really doing anything that is opposite of who I am as a person and that I believe. So nothing really has to be forced. It just comes natural to me. And for most of us, we have to figure out what it is that we can do or say that is coming natural to us that can also help other people. And that's what we're going to talk about next. You need to define your purpose. You need to find a long-term vision and mission. What difference would you make for your audience? What's important to them professionally and personally, and what values can you embody? Start by identifying your brand. Think about your significance to others. What is embedded in your past experiences, your decisions, your actions? Ask yourself how and why you live the life that you live. And then I'm going to talk to you about the 3 components that I think are very important. Here are the 3 components that I think are very important when it comes to defining your purpose. You can screenshot this, you can write this down, but I do think that it's very important for you to really take this into account. So number one, I will make a difference by offering what? How are you going to make a difference? How can you make a difference in someone else's life by being yourself? I will make a difference by offering what? The unique, memorable, and meaningful value that you want to provide. What is that? You should start by figuring that out. Number two, among all the other people who want to make that difference, because there are other people that you're going to be able to look to who also make that difference. Who would you like to both fit in with, but also stand out from? That's important because you can use those individuals as a blueprint for you to start figuring out how you can approach this. And then three, because of the skill set, personality traits, habits, tendencies, prior experiences, social capital, cultural capital, and credentials that will allow you to gain credibility and deliver what? What I mean by that is, what is it that you have to offer that you can give, whether it be a skill, whether it be a personality trait, a habit, experience, who your social standing, if that's something that you can use, your cultural one, depending on who you are, you can use your ethnicity, whatever it is that you identify with. What can you use that allows you to be credible to deliver whatever it is that you can provide? Think about these things. You should write them down. Once you do that, this will pretty much tell you exactly what you should make content about. So I'm going to give you an example. Take someone like Kai Cenat. He's an online streamer and YouTuber, and he's best known for live streams and comedy-based content that he uploads on YouTube. I can tell you this with all 100% authenticity. I have never watched any of Kai Cenat's content. I've never watched the guy. Never. But I will say this. I know who he is. My demographic for my audience is anyone from 25, I believe, all the way up to 54. And I bet you all know the name Kai Cenat. That's why I use this as an example. I think it's very important that we look at that because that tells you how great his brand is. His brand is so big, you know who he is if you've never even watched his content. So some people, they'll have content based on their family, their life, their relationship. What I'm saying is we all have a personal brand. We just need to find our audience. If you are into health and fitness, have you ever thought about recording your workouts? Have you ever thought about just recording your ideas, your experiences through storytelling? If you're a man and you just have experience with relationships with the different sexes, like if you have a personal experience that you can share and that you think someone in a certain situation, a certain walk of life, a certain area of a certain creed or culture can identify with that experience is valuable and can be quantified into something that we can all perceive as a brand. But because it's a part of who you are, you never have to try to be something that you're not. So it's going to be natural and easy for you to deliver this to someone and provide them with that value. All right. So hopefully by, using this template, you have an idea of what your purpose can be. And if you haven't figured it out yet, that's okay. I didn't either. Again, I've had several YouTube channels attempting several different things until I did something that, and it's funny, this is the thing that I knew would probably work, but I didn't want to do it. It's funny how the thing that would work, you may not necessarily want to do. So, if all else fails, there's definitely something that you could probably think of that you are good at and that you can share, even if it's the thing that you may not necessarily want to talk about or do. Now that we've defined our purpose, let's talk about 3 steps to building a personal brand. And I think these are the 3 most important steps. And these are the 3 steps that I've used in my personal brand to come this far. Number 1 is consistency. Number 2 is frequency. Number 3 is visibility. Now, let's start with consistency. Once you've defined your brand, like we just talked about, the next step is to create a content strategy. This includes identifying the types of content you're going to create and how often you're going to create it and where you're going to share it. My mode of sharing content is YouTube primarily. I have shared content on TikTok and Instagram as well. My recommendation is to focus on one main one, conquer that one first, and then move on to the next. As you start to grow, it'll be easier for you to branch out to other platforms, but I do think you should spend most of your time on one. Personal branding is creating and maintaining a reputation that defines who you are and what you stand for. That's going to be both online and offline. Consistency is key when it comes to personal branding, and it helps establish credibility, trust, and authority. And consistency is important. If you do want to be seen as credible, you need to be consistent. It makes you trustworthy and it makes you reliable. And people like to see that. For those of you who say that you don't have a lot of time to spend on your brand, if you don't have a lot of time, then I suggest that you spend money. If that means running ads, hiring people to help promote you, there's a lot of individuals that can speak with you that will be able to help you grow your brand. It's a lot of people that do that for a career. Let's say that you don't have any money, then you spend more time. If you don't have a lot of money, you spend more time, whether that be after work, on your off day, in between breaks. It's possible for you to do this if you're building a personal brand. You can do it, especially when the personal brand is based on your existence, because I really want you to take that into consideration. If you're that busy, turn on your camera. Everyone's on their phones constantly. You see them all the time. Turn on your camera, and whatever it is that's taking up all of your time, record that. You've seen people do it. I've seen a guy on TikTok recording his UPS experiences. Like, there is a way that you can do it. If you want to make an excuse as to why that you can't, then it's just an excuse, and I have nothing else that I can say. Number 2 is frequency. Now, I want to make sure I define frequency because I don't want this to be confused with consistency. Frequency is the rate at which something occurs or is repeated over a particular period of time or in a given sample. So frequency is important to a personal brand because it helps to build awareness, retain attention, and establish more trust. Posting a good amount of content plus consistency, because you don't want to just post. I mean, you can be consistent posting one piece of content a month. You can do it every single month and you're still being consistent. But you want to post a good amount of content, maybe weekly, maybe 2 times a week, 3 or 4 times a week. Posting a good amount of content can ensure that your brand captures and retains attention. You want to stay at the forefront of individuals' mind. You want to be the one that they think of when they have a question. You want to make sure that you are the first thing that comes to mind for a lot of particular instances, especially when you want them to recommend you to family or friends. However, you do want to set a sustainable pace that aligns with your professional capacity and your audience's expectations. You want to make sure that you're not burning yourself out if you cannot create more content than what you're currently delivering. Do not burn yourself out. It is okay. You can take your time and do the pace that is best suited for you and also what your audience expects of you. But normally you're the one that sets the pace for the expectation. Okay? And it can also change depending on the way that you decide to change your pace. Again, too much will not only burn you out, but it'll also affect the quality of your content. If there's one thing you don't want to suffer, it is the quality of what you're delivering. And number 3 is going to be visibility. Here's how I look at this, and this is my own formula. Consistency plus frequency equals visibility. So a strong personal brand isn't just about what you do. It's about visibility and making an impact. You could be the most talented person in the room, but if no one knows what you're doing, your brand won't grow. That's as simple as I could put it. Building visibility requires you to be proactive in sharing your work and accomplishments with others. Visibility is not a luxury. That's what I've had to learn through trying to build a personal brand. Visibility is not a luxury. Visibility is a responsibility. I think anyone can be visible. You can be visible by doing anything, honestly, even if it's the most derogatory thing imaginable. But I do think that if you have visibility, you do have a responsibility, not only to yourself, but to your audience that's also watching you. And many of us, we hold back from taking this step of visibility due to various reasons, whether that be perfectionism, feeling unprepared, a busy schedule. And again, all these excuses might seem valid, but in the grand scheme of things, they hold us back from fulfilling our personal brand's potential. That is the truth. And I can say that because I've done that before. I've made a lot of excuses as to why I did not want to do what I'm doing currently. And no matter how many excuses that I made, I do believe because I was not being authentically myself, everything else I tried failed. So when I sat back and really thought about this may not be what I want to do, but it's what I should do because it's where I provide the most value. And in turn, it's giving me a lot. Now I'm going to mention the two things that I think that you could do besides being consistent and frequent that will give you visibility. But here are the other two things that I think are very, very important. Number one, you want to engage with your audience. Interaction is key. You want to engage with your audience by responding to comments. You want to participate in discussions. You want to show appreciation to your followers. This builds a community around your brand and it increases your reach, especially through word of mouth. I do one-on-one coachings and you guys know it. I've talked to some of you guys for several hours. Some of you, I email personal things, especially actually some of you, I've encouraged you to start a YouTube channel because just from conversations, I felt like you're people that I would want to watch. And I've encouraged that. And you could ask anybody. I support anything anyone is doing. There's not one person I think that I've talked to that can't say that I didn't encourage them to do something or to be more or to do more. They can't say it. That's just who I am. Like really that it's not even, I don't even have to try. That's really who I am as a person. So I want to see people be successful. And I think that because of that, sometimes it's very natural for me to want to help. So it's very natural for me to have conversations, to talk to people, to ask them about their families, to do things like that. It's just a natural thing. I just do it. So it's very easy for me to build this relationship with my audience because I authentically care about my audience. I also suggest you utilize SEO. SEO is search engine optimization. This is more on a technical level. The other one I was talking about, I guess we could say it's on a humane fundamental level, but on a technical level, I utilize search engine optimization to make sure that my content is discoverable. So I have a website that makes sure that you can find me if you Google me and you search for me. I use relevant keywords. I talked about that when creating videos. I use keywords that I know get searched often so people can find my content. I also create high quality content and I regularly update my content so that it ranks higher in search engines. And there's plenty of videos that you can find on that. I'll probably make a video one day on search engine optimization in YouTube and how you can be found more easily and how your videos can rank. But more importantly than even that, I do believe that building that relationship and having those personal reactions and discussions and conversations are very, very valuable. And that's not only going to make people, not only will they be subscribers of yours or followers of yours, but they will also be your network. I do want to talk about the 4 advantages of a strong personal brand. You get a lot more opportunities. If you have a strong personal brand, you will more than likely get exposed to more interviews, more job offers, more promotions, clients, hostings, things like that. I will say that personally, I've turned down 99% of offers, promotions, interviews, etc. I don't do them. It would take a very unique scenario for me to collaborate or to work with someone else at this current stage. So I highly suggest saying no to most things. Only say yes to opportunities that align with your priorities. If it's a project that you like, if it's a personal interest, but above all else, if what someone proposes does not align with your brand, your value, or how you value your time, saying no to something will allow you to say yes to a ton of things that you really care about. Don't say yes to anything that you don't believe in or that goes against who you are. I believe that wholeheartedly. And that's again why I say no to 99% of what's offered to me. And I've been offered a lot in this very short amount of time. I say no. So it's important for us to take charge of our own narratives because our stories have the power to change us. According to some studies by psychiatrists, the stories that people tell about their life experiences are the most powerful force that shape the identity of who they are. So you want to be able to control your narrative, and building a personal brand is the best way to do that. Number 3, it helps you minimize imposter syndrome. I think a lot of that goes around on the internet, and a lot of us tend to do that because we don't have the time to really think about who we are. And sometimes we try to pretend that we are who we want to be. When you're willing to be yourself and live your brand fully, you avoid feeling like you're faking it and you find true satisfaction in delivering your best work, which I think comes from being yourself. That is your best work. It'll also grow your reach. And I'm sure that you've heard the expression, your network is your net worth. To me, that simply means that the people you know and connect with can open doors. They provide opportunities and can introduce you to new ideas and new perspectives. A strong network is like money in the bank. Building authentic relationships with others is more important than assets in your portfolio or how much money that you have. The connections that you have and the relationships that you build with others can have a direct impact on your financial success, your overall wealth, but more importantly, your overall well-being and your happiness. So I think when you have good, supportive people in your network, it is going to encourage you to not only create good content, but it'll keep you on the right path. And it will also allow you to open the doors for others. Because as you become more successful, you'll become someone who can partner and help the people that you would like to support, which is what this is all about. Now, before we finish, here's a reminder. Getting paid to exist by creating a personal brand may not be for everyone. I've said it before. Again, it's not something that I've tried to do. It's not something that I actively wanted to pursue. I didn't want to do it, but the thing is, you never know what you could do until you try. So what do you really have to lose? Like right now, if you're watching this video and you were hoping that getting paid to exist was going to consist of some sort of hack or easy whatever, and you feel like this was, maybe not what you were looking for, all I have to say to you is everything that I can only talk about personal experience. My experience is documented. You can see it from zero from this channel to now. And eventually I'll probably even do a year update on how much I've made from this personal brand just with YouTube. And again, just this month, I will have $8,000 from just Google AdSense and this brand alone. That's it. That's just that. That's not including anything else. That's not including affiliate links. That's not including anything from Shopify. If I included all of that, I've already passed $10,000 a month from creating a personal brand. So if the monetary value isn't enough to motivate you, I will also say that while it is a lot of work, it is very fulfilling work. And I had a conversation with someone that I just got off a one-on-one coaching with. Coolest guy ever. Man, such a great conversation. And I felt like, wow, this is really cool that I get to make money by sharing my ideas that I've been sharing with people for free all the time anyway. And then people getting personal enjoyment and fulfillment from my ideas, from my conversation, from things I would have done for free. I would do this for free with someone I met at work and have a conversation with them for like an hour or two if I was in sales. So it wasn't that, that was normal. But having a conversation for an hour or two and giving them all this same type of information, I would do it for free. So if you would do it for free, why not just do this? Again, you're getting paid to exist now. I'm getting paid to do something I would have done anyway. So like I said, if you didn't think that that was the purpose, that's exactly what I've done. And I can only use myself as an example. And yeah, I continue to be a testament. And I'm very, very grateful and very thankful to have the opportunity to do this and have the opportunity to share this type of information, content, and myself as a person with the people who are watching this video. So thank you very much. If you are interested in starting a personal brand, please drop a comment below. You can drop a comment with what you think that your personal brand is. What do you think that that might be? I have another video that I talked about and I don't release my videos in order. So things are so, if I haven't re-released it yet, then I'll link it right here. It probably won't be out by the time I release this, but if I did, it's one on how to start a successful business. It's essentially the same thing about personal branding. It just kind of gives a little bit more detail of what you should be looking for in order to do this. But if you guys really enjoy this type of content and I see a good reaction from it, I'll continue to go a step further and break down even more specific details of what I do and what you can do to help identify your personal brand, help be consistent with it, bump up the frequency, and then also increase that visibility. And we can get into a much deeper conversation because I would love to see everyone's individual brands grow and how they can leverage that. And you can turn that into a business. So again, just sometimes getting paid to really exist and be yourself is a real thing. I think it's pretty awesome. It's very cool. And anyone can do it. So yeah, drop those comments. Please like and subscribe. That lets YouTube know that you like this video and that it can be shared with more people who also will like this content. So thank you so much for watching once again, and you guys have a wonderful day.